everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Anchua. This is a way overdue subscriber request. I had this request by a subscriber like almost 2 months ago to do my recommendation for church, or Sunday best, and I've been procrastinating, on doing this, and this is the time. I do take notice of the requests that people send in, and I'm going to address all of them, but this is going to be one. I have forgotten the person, but I noted it down, and this is the time for our Sunday best. I wanted to dress accordingly, but let's just go with the flow today because I'm sort of batch filming today, so the same dress, for other videos that I'm doing. And I have amazing church fragrances. I don't think there's anything prescribed as church fragrance, but you just look at the occasion and then dress and fragrance or put fragrances appropriately. When it comes to such fragrances like the church, fragrances, I don't recommend anything sexy, out there, beast mode. I would rather recommend something more gentle, more approachable, more relaxed, and a bit more sweet and mass appealing, because you're going to the house of the Lord. You don't want to do too much. You just want to come across as approachable, and likable, not like sexy and doing too much, because it is the house of the Lord. And I have 10 of these fragrances I have put together. The first one I think I'm going to recommend is going to be the Kingdom Her by Lattafa, which is a recent release, and I think this one is a good everyday, gentle pear vanilla scent that gives me a very polished, sophisticated woman. It doesn't do too much, I have Elegance here, and I really love this. It's sort of growing on me. It was a like, but now I wish I have a full bottle of the Kingdom Her. It is nothing special, it is quite generic, but it is one of those generic fragrances that is going to be mass appealing, inoffensive. People are going to smell you and probably give you a compliment or two. It comes across as a very soft, gentle, demure, put together lady, and that is why I would recommend the Kingdom Her. And for the price that is going for less than $25, I think it deserves to be one that you just look out for. So the Kingdom Her by Lattafa, I will highly recommend as one that you can pull through your church service. It's quite long lasting, not like the best, like 10 hours plus, but it's going to give you the average 4-5 hours maximum that you spend in a church. Most people do not spend more than 4-5 hours in a church, and they're going to get your money's worth with the Kingdom Her if you wear it for such intimate, demure, gentle setting like the church. The next one I have on this list is going to be Mazaaji from also Lattafa Mazaaji. I always mix this up. Mazaaji is a very floral, citrus, orange blossom fragrance with a hint of vanilla, and that gives me a very innocent, feel. It gives me a very innocent, polished, puts me in a very demure, polished, vibe. It doesn't do too much. It is your floral, your white floral. It is not like old school floral. It's a very modern class. It gives me a very classic vibe. It comes across like all ages. People, let's say from their 20s to 60, 70, everybody can wear Mazaaji. It's a very mass appealing one. I'm quite citrusy, and the vanilla and that, the white florals, play a very beautiful role. It gives me, sort of, innocence and bridal feel. It gives me that, so probably for your bridal shower, your weddings, your church, or church weddings and all those things, you can use Mazaaji, for example. It is a very beautiful, gentle one, that reminds me of innocence, and yeah, it just reminds me of innocence and class and sophistication. So that is going to be my second recommendation. The next one I have here is from Lattafa, and this is Angham. And Angham is a very beautiful lavender, vanilla, and other florals. It is sweet. It comes across as a more, put together with some effort, but it's like more dressed up, for people who want to be, step up their game a little bit, in the church setting. Although like super inoffensive, it gives something a little bit over, the very demure ones. It is also gentle. It doesn't do too much. It is sweet. It is quite spicy. It is floral, but it's not overwhelming at all. So Angham from Lattafa, I would highly recommend. It's going to last you throughout your service, and maybe if you want to hang out for meetings and other things after church, it will take you through all those things, because it's quite long lasting, and people are going to smell you. It will not take over the room, but people in close proximity are going to smell you and most likely compliment you, because it is sweet, and lovely, and a little, above the ordinary. So Angham, I will highly recommend. The next recommendation on this list is going to be Madawi Gold Edition, or the 40th Anniversary Edition by Arabian House, or Arabian Oud. That is the name of the house. And this is going to be your very matured, sort of, rich woman, classy, worthy one, someone who is like, very influential in the church sort of vibes. It gives me a very influential person vibes. Madawi Gold is a very classy, sophisticated one, with some vanilla and some I think pineapple blossom and some very beautiful florals, but it is mostly a fruity vanilla fragrance, very ambery and thick and resonant. It gives me that pineapple without doing, it's like pineapple blossom if I'm not mistaken, and it's a very rich, intense one without doing too much. It's for the more, let's say, it's also mass appealing, but there's a lot more going on with Madawi Gold, although it doesn't come across as complicated. It is very mass appealing, but it gives me a very put together, like someone like very influential in the church setting, maybe the pastor's wife or the pastor himself, or the dickness or the dickness, or it gives me something like someone of power, of influence, and that is going to be Madawi Gold, although everybody can wear it, at any time. So Madawi Gold, I'm going to go with that. The next fragrance on this list is going to be Armaf's Club de Nuit Woman. This is a very classy patchouli floral fragrance. It screams a bit, classy to me. It gives me the image of a very influential and affluential person. It's like influence and affluence and confidence. It doesn't give me your typical stereotypical girly, mass appealing one. It screams influence, affluence, confidence, and power. It gives me someone of of good influence, just like Madawi, but Club de Nuit screams more of a former, boxed out, person. It gives me, it's not playful, it's not as playful as, let's say, Madawi Gold, for example. Madawi Gold is not super playful, but in comparison to Club de Nuit Woman, I think Club de Nuit Woman is more serious, and more formal. It gives me a very prim and proper person, at the church setting. That is when you see all manner of characters coming out, the prim and proper, the holier than thou, yeah, that is what it's giving me. So Club de Nuit is giving me prim and proper, that is the vibe it is giving me, but it feels very appropriate for this church setting, because you are doing a little much without doing, coming across as sexy and being too much at the church setting. So Club de Nuit Woman, I think, is going to be phenomenal for such an event. The next one I'm going to talk about is going to be Infini Rose from Alhambra, and that is going to be your quintessential lovely, approachable, very like someone that a lot of people love at the church, that person who like maybe an usher, those like an usher in the church who mingles with everybody, very approachable. Everybody loves this person. That is the vibe that Infini Rose gives me. It's like everybody loves this person. It is very likable and approachable, and that is going to be the case of Infini Rose by the House of Alhambra. The next one I have is going to be Cleopatra from Hamidi, and that is inspired by Queen Camina, and that is a very sophisticated lady, for the classy lady who everybody knows in the church and admires, sometimes from afar. There's always one or two women in the church that you admire from afar. You can't approach, but you wish you could, at least say hi to them occasionally, or you just in your head go like, I want to be like this woman, when I grow up, because they are either influential or they carry themselves so well, that you admire them from afar. And that is the vibe of Cleopatra. It gives me a very polished rose peony violet scent. It is a floral scent that I love. Florals, for the most part, I don't do do a lot, I don't vibe with them, but it's a very mass appealing floral scent with the rose, the peony, the violet. It's very beautiful, blended in well. It gives me a very polished, respectable, or, person, woman, for example, in the church. So I'll highly recommend Cleopatra from the house of Hamidi. I'm going to go with the good old Khamrah, the OG Khamrah from Lattafa. I think that is a phenomenal one for church. The Khamrah Kawa can seem a lot more spicy and probably a lot, for church, although you can still rock it to the church, to the church. But I think the OG Khamrah gives it like a more, approachable approach, or vibe, than the other one, which is like the sexy out there version. I think Khamrah is a good one with the date, smelling sweet. It doesn't give you anything boozy and spicy like Angel Share, for example. It is more tamed as compared to some of the DNAs similar. So I think Khamrah, for example, is a very good one. It's more of the, the spicy person, not everybody is like the same. At the church, we all have different characters. So for the spicy, out there, confident gentleman or woman who gets, want to go to church and still be able to blend in without, without feeling like they need to not be themselves. I think Khamrah is a good example of a fragrance that is going to blend in at the church setting without you losing who you are, or expressing yourself in that way. So Khamrah, I'll highly recommend. The next one on this list, and I think is going to be, not the last one. The next one is going to be Flor Oud from the house of Khadlaj. And I think Flor Oud is a very green, clean, fresh, crisp, sweet sort of feel. It gives me a very polished, well-rounded, like clean sort of vibes. It is different, for the person who wants to stand out, not like blending with the crowd. Flor Oud is a great example of a fragrance I'll highly recommend that you check out for the church setting. It gives me a very polished vibe, like classy polished vibe, but with an oomph, that's animalic sort of sweet nuance I get. That is what, sort of differentiates it from other scents. And I highly recommend that you check Flor Oud, for church setting. It gives me a very polished, out there, but not like super spicy or super animalic, approach. And that is going to be Flor Oud. And the last one I have here is going to be Janun Rose from Haramain. And that is going to be your classic amaretto rose fragrance with a bit of a boozy twist to it, but it's not like a spicy boozy. It is quite different, but it gives me class and elegance, There is something about Janun Rose that screams like a very polished, well put together woman. To my nose, it gives me a rose that is like quite different, not super mass appealing. It gives me something like quite unique that you might be looking for, As I say, you might not always want to blend in with the masses. You just want to show your personality, and do something different. And Janun Rose is a classic example of a fragrance that is going to give you that, as well as keep you from being overly out there, like being overly sexy or being overly, unnecessarily out there in the church setting. It gives me a very polished, well put together woman, and it's appropriate for the church setting, like very classy, confident woman. And these are 10 fragrances that I think I'm going to recommend for my church, setting. And I hope whoever it is that requested for this is watching this video today. I do hope you are watching this today, since it's been a while since you made this request, and please keep your requests coming in. And that is going to be it for today. And I hope this video found you well. Please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I hope to see you in my next one. Take care. Bye bye.